This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Reds POSTCAST, your live reaction show to every single Cincinnati Reds game. I am Tim Daniel. I have been covering the Cincinnati Reds in podcast form for over 5 years at publications such as the Riverfront and Late Night Reds. You can get my show as well as Jeff Carr and Stephen Offenbaker with Locked On Reds every day for free on YouTube or your podcast app of choice. I am so happy to be here with you guys tonight. I wish we were having a better game to talk about, but unfortunately tonight, the Cincinnati Reds have a 1-0 loss at the hands of Nathan Eovaldi and the Texas Rangers. So it wasn't exactly a fun one at the ballpark by any means, but hey, you know me. I'll find some positives, and here's what we're talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So guys, obviously Nathan Eovaldi did his thing tonight to go under 100, right under 100 pitches, I believe, a 1-0 win, and was dealing, but this was kind of a bit of a struggle game for the Reds because it seems like things just weren't going their way offensively. And I know we're going to see someone come in here tonight and do the whole, well, they scored 14 yesterday, they should have kept a couple for today. No. We're not going through that whatsoever. Today just wasn't their day. Today, Nathan Eovaldi did his thing. So that you got to just kind of tip your cap to him. And you go out there tomorrow and play again. So I'm not too worried about the loss tonight. I will talk about a couple of things particularly, but just go positive. And let's talk about Carson Spiers tonight, guys, because I thought today he was awesome. Hey, look, I'm seeing the comments. I'm just going to go ahead and get in front of this real quick. I understand being disappointed they lost tonight, and that's fine. But it's just an unlucky night. If you're coming in here with same old Reds and it's a disaster, relax. Guys, it's the 5th game of the season. They don't even have their full lineup. Carson Spiers wasn't even supposed to be in the rotation. And guess what? He was awesome tonight. He was really good. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. I thought he was great tonight. I mean, he hit his spots. He worked his sinker really well. Wyatt Langford got one on him. You know, you're not going to be mad at a one run outing from your starter. If you're, I know there's the baseball situation of people don't always love these 1-0 games, but I thought this was a great pitcher's duel. And I thought Spiers held his own against Eovaldi, and Eovaldi was dominant. So I thought today for Carson Spiers, what really jumped out the most was he kind of made his case to stay around. Now, obviously, Andrew Abbott made his first rehab start tonight in Louisville, so who knows how that's going to look when that decision comes. But Carson Spiers has that ability, kind of like Nick Martinez to a lesser extent, of you can throw him out of the bullpen, you can throw him as a starter. This showed tonight. Last year, he was so good coming out of the pen, and and not so good as a starter. And today was his best start he's had in his big league career. He not the Wyatt Langford home run, gets right back up, figures it out right after that. And then we have the situation shortly after that where he gives up a couple hits, works around it, gives up a couple walks, works around it. This is really promising performance by Carson Spiers. This is something you see from him where this is where you want to see in that next step. How does he fit in with not just the current guys, the Hunter Greens, Nick Lodolo's, Nick Martinez's, Brady Singers? How do you fit him in? Yes, Nikita, that is Andre the Giant behind me. How do you fit him in with the guys who are up and coming? What about like when Andrew Abbott's back, when Rhett Lauder's able to pitch? Chase Burns is starting the year with the Dragons, so I highly doubt you see him this year. Hopefully you don't see him this year because something went wrong. But Carson Spiers is a guy who's trying to find his way. If the Reds do ever look to improve that outfield spot, is he a guy that can pitch himself to be in the conversation to be someone who gets himself into the trade? Total way ahead of ourselves speculation there. But I think right now he is opening eye. If he has, with the performance he had tonight, I'm trying to say, he opened his eyes to more situations. And I was impressed. I think a lot of us did not necessarily expect he would have a game like that. Nathan Eovaldi was just better. And that's not Carson Spiers' fault. He did everything he could. He gave you a chance to win the game when he moved the ball over to the bullpen. We're going to talk about the bullpen as well a little later in the show. But when you have a situation like that, I can't be mad at him. I thought that tonight was his best start. And I think when you look big picture so far, 5 games into the season, the rotation has been minus, Nick Lodolo had a bad inning, but I thought had a great performance. Okay, that's probably not fair. I don't even think bad's right. I think he had an okay inning that things got a little away from him. Hunter Green had an inning where things just got a little away from him in opening day. And Nick Martinez had, gave up a couple homers. But I think big picture, if you look at what you saw for the rotation the first 5 games, you're probably really happy. And I know I get the comments every day, well, the bullpen's a little suspect. The bullpen kept them alive tonight too. And I thought this was I'm very happy with the pitching side of things tonight. And I thought Terry Francona did a good job managing the pitching side of things tonight. Let it take, I don't know, you could probably make the case Carson maybe should have got a shot from the 7th, but Scott Barlow looked great in the 7th. I thought he did really well. I'll get to the bullpen rules here in a minute. Taylor Rogers wasn't sharp, but how about Ian Jabot bouncing back from that rough opening day to kind of find a way to say, to kind of bounce back. He brought his ERA rate down. He cut his ERA rate in half in his last 2 performances, guys. So that's pretty nice. But I just want to make sure, because I know everyone's disappointed. Look, Jeff said it on their live on Monday on Locked On Reds. You're going to win 50, you're going to lose 50. It's what you do with the other ones. I think this is one of those lose 50s. Eovaldi was just awesome. And Texas played well enough to win. And the Reds didn't. So I'm not overly concerned. I think things are going to be all right. And I'm excited to see Hunter Green take the hill tomorrow with a chance to win the series in a rubber match. So, but with all the good there was in today's game, there's a little bad. You tip your hat to the opposing pitcher. You give him his credit, but you also got to know the inconsistency of the bats. We're going to talk about that here in our next segment. With the Final Four this weekend and baseball season beginning, FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you win with your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything such as, is Cooper Flag and Duke? Are they going to do it? Are they going to make the run at it? Who will be the first 1 seed to lose in this tournament? And then on the baseball side of things, how many strikeouts is Hunter Green going to have tomorrow? I always take the over on that one. I always feel confident in Hunter Green strikeouts. So it's normally around 6.5 to 7.5. I feel like tomorrow against this Texas team who hasn't necessarily had the greatest batting so far, let's give Hunter Green a chance tomorrow to make things happen. So FanDuel is the place to be. And the app is simple to use. And when I win, I get paid instantly. No waiting around. So use FanDuel.com and get in on the action all tournament and all baseball season long. Get the supplies you need from sites made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest project info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 20,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, the free Master Trade program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code S-H-H5 for 5% off your order. That is supplyhouse.com. Thank you guys for hanging out again after each and every Reds game. Be sure, as always, to check out Locked On Reds with Jeff Carr and Stephen Offenbaker on Monday through Friday as they do the deep dive. I'm here for the game recap. They're here for the big picture recap, and they're going to go and do that as well. Guys, let's go before we get into the bats and the offense tonight. Let's just talk about the turning point of tonight's game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
The turning point really was in the first inning when Wyatt Langford took Carson Spiers deep to put it at 1-0, which ended up being the end result of the game. Just got to give Langford credit. I thought it was a good pitch. I just thought I got a hold of it. And that's what happened. So on the end of the pitching, we talked about how well the pitching was today. I do want to get a little bit into the hitting side of things because it wasn't their day, right? I mean, last night we talked about it. We had a lot of fun. They scored 14 runs. They have 14 hits. Tonight, they don't score any runs. They have 4 hits. And they made some decisions that I really want to question. The first one I really want to talk about is why in the world did they bunt in the 9th inning there? I get TJ Friedl is a guy who, when healthy, is one of the best punchers in baseball. One, the bunt was terrible. It was atrocious. That was awful. So that's disappointing. 2, I don't understand why you're doing that. Jacob Hurtubise comes in, pitch hits for Blake Dunn, for Austin Wynn, gets a nice hit. And I thought that was going to be, I thought it was a potential to be a nice start for a rally. And then Friedl goes and does that. And I've talked about Friedl for 3 days in a row now, whether he wasn't in the lineup or whether he was in the lineup or what he did or what he didn't do, or should he have been used or shouldn't he have been used. But what in the world are they doing there? And I don't blame them. I don't blame the coaching staff for that one. I don't blame Chris Valleca. I don't blame Terry Francona, because the conversation's been had quite a bit that Francona trusts these guys to put on their own hit and runs. He trusts these guys to make their own decisions in the batter's box. Maybe we talk about that one. And it's the first time Friedel's tried to put a bunt down probably in a little while. I don't recall every at bat he's had so far this season, so forgive me if I have that wrong. But I suspected that was probably a little bit of a one. It looked like Texas kind of sniffed it out. It looks like they kind of saw it coming. And 2, it was a terrible bunt. It was just really bad. And I love Friedl. I think that I thought Friedl gave a bad performance in that bat, obviously. And I thought the decision making didn't make any sense. I see Miss Nikita 1900. Why not try to steal second with Hurtubise? Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't know if I would have gone that route, but I don't necessarily hate that thought process, because in a game like this where you need to manufacture runs and you need to and you're in your last chance, there's a possibility, I don't know. I mean, there's a possibility they let it to go be the defensive indifference kind of thing. It's Higgyosha back there, so I always say his name wrong. So maybe he just kind of lets it slide. I doubt it, but make the catcher make a decision there. Sure. I don't mind that. I don't think that's a bad conversation to have. So thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. And then after that, we have the thing. Friedl basically takes the place there, and Matt McLean has a check. Max McLean doesn't have his best at bat, and then Ellie gets down 0-2 and works himself to an even count and makes contact and just goes right to first base. So disappointing, but tonight was not good. So if I gave you guys blindfolded, gave you a box score and said, name the 2 guys in this team that didn't strike, the 3 guys in this team that didn't strike out today, would your guesses have been Ellie De La Cruz, Gavin Lux, and Santiago Espinal? I would say probably not. But Friedl had 2, McLean had 1, Candelaria had 1, Fraley had 2. Fraley Lux lost. I don't know. So the quirky pitcher says, I was hoping they'd pinch it for TJ in the 9th. I did see they talked about Christian Encarnacion Strand was available to pinch hit today. And then at one point they said did put on take his jacket off and had batting gloves on. So, but I guess they ended up not getting to him to do so. Part of me is disappointed. Part of me is that, look, it's the 5th game of the year. And part of me is like, like I said, Eovaldi was just dominant, and just tip your cap. Get a chance to go back there tomorrow. I feel pretty good about tomorrow. Hunter Green on getaway day. and a Texas Rangers lineup that has also struck out a lot through 2 games. So this is going to be something that's going to be really fascinating. But I think that I'm going to withhold judgment on the lineup until Austin Hayes is back, until we see this team at full health, until Tyler Stevenson's back. Patrick, I see, you're talking, I like Patrick's comments. I see outfield's rough. Hayes needs to come back. He was playing well, but I'm really genuinely curious, what does this team look like when everyone's healthy, when everyone's together, when it looks like it'd be situations where they could do just kind of pass the bat to each other. Torpedo bats not do much today, by any means. I don't even know if they use them, but we all move on. We have better days, and Cincinnati Reds do lose today 1-0. But yes, I think tomorrow, I'm not in the situation of must-win game because it's game 6 of the season. They have 156 left after tomorrow, but you certainly feel a lot better if you do win it. So let's go ahead before we get to the last point of the show, and let's get to our player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
All right, so player of the game really should be Nathan Eovaldi, let's be honest. But on the Red side of things, I'm going to keep it on the pitching side as well. Carson Spiers, mentioned the game already. Not just a quality start, but an excellent start. A guy who's going to make it difficult to make a tough decision when you get your starting rotation back healthy. So 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. I've been through it. Yes, and Branch makes a great point. Shout out Branch Brown hanging out. The Rangers are really good. So they're a really good baseball team. And last year was a rough year because they had a lot of injuries. They just won the World Series 2 years ago. And that's when they were healthy, and they're healthy again. So kind of have put that in effect as well. Again, probably too early, 5 games in. But we're starting to see some trends in Terry Francona and how he's managing the bullpen. Some of them I like. Some of them I'm still really iffy on. Tonight, after Spiers comes out of the game, Scott Barlow comes in, throws an inning, walks a batter, gives up a hit, but gets through unscathed. In the 8th inning, Taylor Rogers goes up for the first 2 hitters and gives up a walk, gets a couple outs, and then Ian Gibaut takes the ball, goes an inning and a third with a strikeout. Was pretty decent, honestly. His 2 outings since opening day has been really good. And look, I'm not a huge Ian Gibaut guy. I'm not saying like I'm a believer in Ian Gibaut, but if we're going to be hard on him when he's bad, we got to give him credit when he's good as well. I think that's fair. And I thought tonight he did well. But my point is, and this could all be different with what's coming up with Alexis Diaz throwing batting practice today, but you're starting to see a few roles necessarily get defined in this rotation. So in the bullpen, sorry. Scott Barlow comes out. You see he could be used in really tight games. Taylor Rogers, I still am a big believer. I don't think he's been great yet, but I love having him on the team. I wish he was used more. And then Ian Gibaut being used in high leverage makes me really nervous. And not just because of opening day, just in general. But yes, there's a lot of anxiety when I see Ian Gibaut getting the ball. And so far, his last 2 outings, he's proved us wrong. He's been pretty darn good. There's still opening day in the back of our heads, which a lot of us are still holding on to. This is going to be kind of one of those things where, yeah, it's probably going to be worked out as we go, but I am liking what I'm seeing here. I do hope to get a little bit more Graham Ashcraft just to see what does bullpen Graham Ashcraft look like down the road. Wouldn't be shocked if he pitches tomorrow. But for now, with what they have, I think this is okay bullpen wise. I know they've had mixed reactions. Mixed results so far, but I think it's going to be okay, guys. Let's just kind of take a deep breath. I'm going to be here every night with you guys. They're going to lose 50 to 60 games at minimum. We can't stress out every night, guys. We can't stress out. I love you. I love spending time with you guys, but we got to make sure we're patient. This is certainly the ultimate marathon and not a sprint sport. But we'll kind of see how things go. So again, The Cincinnati Reds do take the 1-0 loss tonight to the 4-2 Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers have 1 run on 4 hits and no errors, and the Cincinnati Reds, no runs on 4 hits and 1 error. And tomorrow we have our first business day special of 2025, and boy, do we have a fun pitchers matchup to close out this series in the rubber match. Jack Leiter will be taking the ball for the Texas Rangers. Leiter starts this season 1-0 with a 1.8 ERA. Going against the Reds opening day ace Hunter Green, who currently has a 0-0 record, obviously, with a 3.6 ERA. Green 8 strikeouts, Leiter 4 strikeouts. I will say this. I really don't like seeing the word Leiter starting against the Cincinnati Reds in Cincinnati. And those who know. But we're going to go ahead and close out tonight's Locked On Reds postcast. I will be back tomorrow for the rubber match of this series before the Reds get on the road for their first divisional matchup against the Milwaukee Brewers for a 4-game set. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. I definitely appreciate it. Please be sure to tune in later for Jeff and Steve and Locked On Reds as they discuss tonight's game big picture and what everything means for the future. But I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Can't wait to catch up with you guys. And I feel like I already said in the FanDuel ad, Hunter Green over on strikeouts. I think tomorrow's going to be a good day for the old Red Legs. Have a good night, everybody.